She lost in Cincinnati. Then the US Open gave her something no Filipino athlete has ever received. A private jet touches down at a New York airport. Inside is a 21-year-old woman who, less than 48 hours earlier, was sobbing into a towel courtside after a brutal 3-set loss. She hasn't slept. Her body aches. And yet, when she steps off that plane, there is no press conference bracing for disappointment. There is a red carpet. There is a custom Nike kit waiting for her, stitched with words in her native language. There is a grand slam that has rearranged its own spotlight around her. And there is a world number 4 tennis star openly admitting on camera that he is the one who needs her, not the other way around. This is the story of Alex Eala's arrival at the 2026 US Open, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why one heartbreak in Ohio turned into one of the most talked about storylines of the entire tournament. But here's the part almost nobody is talking about. Before any of this, the dress, the wild card, the star-studded partnership, there was a decision Alex Eala made that some experts are calling reckless. A decision that could either turn her into the breakout star of the US Open or completely derail her body before her most important tournament of the year. We'll get to exactly what that decision was and why it has tennis insiders nervous later in this video. So if you want the full picture, not just the highlight reel, stick around because this story has more layers than you think. Before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We cover the biggest rising stars in tennis as their stories unfold in real time, and trust me, you do not want to miss what happens next in this one. The heartbreak in Cincinnati. Let's rewind. To understand why New York rolled out the red carpet, you first have to understand what happened in Cincinnati, because this wasn't a simple loss. This was a war. Alex Eala walked into the Cincinnati Open, a WTA 1000 event, as the 17th seed, her highest ever seeding at that level of tournament. That in itself was a milestone. But her run in Mason, Ohio ended in the round of 32 against American Amanda Anisimova, a 2-time Grand Slam finalist. The scoreline tells its own story: 4-6, 6-4, 6-2. A match that swung back and forth, that Eala nearly stole, and that ultimately slipped away from her in a decider that left her spent, physically and emotionally. For most players, a loss like that would mean a quiet flight home, a few days of reflection, maybe a short break before the next event. But Alex Eala isn't most players anymore. Not this year, because while she was fighting for every point in Cincinnati, something much bigger was already happening around her. Something that had nothing to do with her ranking and everything to do with the wave she had been riding all summer. The phenomenon that followed her across America. Here's what you need to understand about the last 2 months of Alex Eala's career. It hasn't just been about winning matches. It's been about a movement. Across Washington, Toronto, and Cincinnati, Eala's matches turned into something closer to home games than road trips. Stadiums that would normally host a modest crowd for a player outside the top 15 were suddenly packed wall-to-wall with Philippine flags. Chants of her name echoed through arenas late into the night. Tickets that would typically sell for a fraction of their face value were being resold for hundreds of dollars above asking price. Tennis commentators and fans online started calling it Ealamania, a phenomenon that had transformed a rising 21-year-old from Quezon City into one of the most magnetic drawing cards in the entire sport. And the reason is simple if you look at the numbers. This is a genuine breakout season. Eala captured her first career WTA Tour title at the Mubadala DC Open in Washington, becoming the first player in Philippine history to win a WTA singles crown. She followed that with a run to the 4th round of Wimbledon, another first for her country. She climbed to a career-high ranking inside the world's top 20. And she did all of this while representing not just herself, but one of the largest and most passionate sporting fan bases on the planet. A Filipino community that spans the globe and shows up loudly wherever she plays. So when the US Open organizers watched all of this unfold over the summer, they didn't see a player who just lost in the round of 32 in Cincinnati. They saw the single biggest storyline walking into Flushing Meadows. The welcome that stunned everyone. When Eala arrived at the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center, the reception was unlike anything the tournament typically rolls out for a player ranked outside the top 5 in the world. Tournament officials, photographers, and a growing crowd of fans carrying Philippine flags were there to greet her. A scene that reflected just how much her presence has come to mean, not just to Filipino tennis fans, but to one of the largest Filipino communities in the United States, right there in New York. But it wasn't just the people waiting for her. It was what she was wearing. The $140 dress that carries a nation. Nike unveiled a brand new US Open kit built specifically around Alex Eala's rise. And it wasn't just another tournament outfit. It was a statement. The dress is a royal blue and white colorway, priced at $140, deliberately designed to echo the colors worn by Philippine national teams across basketball, football, and volleyball. It's a visual cue that connects her not just to tennis, but to an entire country's sporting identity. Alongside the dress, Nike released a $42 shirt bearing Eala'S name and a floral design, and it reportedly sold out shortly after release. But the detail that has fans talking most is what's stitched into the collection. 2 Tagalog phrases. The first, Kung may itinanim may anahin, which translates to as you sow, so shall you reap. The second, and the one that has become something close to a personal mantra for Eala, Kapag lumago, hindi na hihinto. Once it grows, it cannot be stopped. This isn't the first time that phrase has appeared on her gear. Eala first wore it on a custom Nike visor during her historic run at Wimbledon this year, explaining afterward that carrying pieces of her culture onto the court is deeply personal to her. A reminder of where she's from and a promise about where she's going. Nike has built an entire ongoing collaboration around this idea, incorporating the sampaguita, the national flower of the Philippines, into visors, hair ties, and shirts throughout her season. What started as a quiet tribute at Wimbledon has now become the centerpiece of her US Open identity. And if you're keeping score at home, a WTA title, a Wimbledon fourth round, a career-high ranking, and now a signature Nike kit built entirely around her national pride. This is a player whose story is bigger than any single match result. Which brings us to the part of her schedule that has completely taken over tennis headlines. The friendship that becomes a rivalry. Before the US Open singles draw even begins, Eala has one incredibly personal date circled on her calendar. August 27th, at Arthur Ashe Stadium, 6 p.m., for the Stars of the Open exhibition, a charity showcase held annually during US Open Fan Week. Her opponent is Iva Jovic, an 18-year-old American who has become one of the WTA's most talked about young talents in her own right. A player ranked inside the world's top 20 who reached the quarterfinals of the Australian Open earlier this year, becoming the youngest American woman to do so since Venus Williams in 1998. Here's what makes this matchup so compelling. Eala and Jovic aren't just rivals. They're close friends. The two have partnered together in doubles in the past, and their bond off the court is well known throughout the tour. But on the court, that friendship gets set aside, and the history between them adds real weight to this exhibition. Jovic currently holds a perfect record against Eala, having beaten her twice this season. First at the French Open, then again at the HSBC Championships at Queen's Club in London. For Eala, this exhibition, even though it carries no ranking points and no prize money, represents something more personal. It's a chance to test herself against a friend who has had her number twice already, on the same court where tennis legends have been made, in front of a crowd that will include one of the largest Filipino diaspora communities in America. The event isn't just about Eala and Jovic either. It's part of a wider night featuring some of the brightest young stars in the sport: Brazil's João Fonseca, American learner Tien, US Open finalist Amanda Anisimova, Ukraine's Marta Kostyuk, and Frenchman Arthur Fils are all part of the lineup, with proceeds supporting tennis and education programs for underserved communities through the USTA Foundation. But even this star-studded exhibition night isn't the headline, because just days before her arrival in New York, one more announcement sent the tennis world into a completely different kind of frenzy. The partnership nobody saw coming. Alex Eala has been given a wildcard entry into the US Open Mixed Doubles Championship. Her partner? World number 4 Felix Auger-Aliassime of Canada. To put this in context, the mixed doubles event at the US Open was completely revamped in 2025 specifically to lure the sport's biggest single stars onto the doubles court, backed by a headline prize of $1 million for the champions. And it worked. This year's field is genuinely stacked. Topping the draw is the sport's most star-studded pairing imaginable, world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka alongside 24-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic. Also entered, Elena Rybakina and Taylor Fritz, Diana Schneider and Daniil Medvedev, Iga Swiatek and Casper Ruud, Belinda Bencic and Flavio Kobali, Amanda Anisimova and Lerner Tien, defending champions Sara Errani and Andrea Vavasori, Leylah Fernandez and Frances Tiafoe, Taylor Townsend and Alexander Zverev, and the husband and wife team of Alina Svitolina and Gael Monfils. Into that field steps Eala and Auger Aliassime, a pairing that, by the player's own account, came together almost by chance. The two share the same management agency, and according to Auger Aliassime, it was their respective teams who connected the dots and made the partnership happen. It will be the very first time the two have ever played together. And then came the moment that turned this partnership into a viral story of its own. Speaking to Tennis Channel ahead of the tournament, Auger Aliassime was asked about teaming up with a player 9 years his junior. His answer was refreshingly honest, and it's the line that's now being quoted everywhere. It's a great opportunity because obviously I didn't play last year, but this time around, to kind of feel what it's like to have the Eala effect and fan base behind me. It's going to be funny because she's younger than me, but I feel like she has the fan base, right? She's carrying the crowd. So it's going to be interesting. Let that sink in for a second. A world number 4 men's player, a Wimbledon and French Open quarterfinalist this year in his own right, is publicly saying that he is the one benefiting from her fan base, not the other way around. That's the scale of what Ealamania has become. Auger Aliassime went further, explaining that the mixed doubles run also serves a strategic purpose for him heading into the rest of the tournament. A way to stay sharp and competitive in between his singles matches, away from the more relaxed rhythm of appearances and sponsor obligations. It keeps you in that competitive mindset, he said. When someone wants to beat you, that's different from being relaxed and training. I think everybody's going to be super competitive, and I think I'm going to love it. The mixed doubles first round and quarterfinals are scheduled for August 25th, with the semifinals and final following on August 26th, all before the main singles draw even gets underway, which means Eala'S tournament technically starts days before most of the other women in the singles field even step on court. It's a fair concern, because for all the magic of the red carpet, the viral quotes, and the sold-out merchandise, none of it means anything if Eala doesn't have the legs left to compete when it matters most. Her actual US Open singles campaign, where she's projected to enter as a top 15 seed, 1 year removed from her US Open debut and a second-round finish. So will the packed schedule catch up with her? Or will all of this momentum, the crowds, the confidence, the partnership with one of the best players in the world, carry her further than anyone expects? That's the tension hanging over everything as she steps onto the practice courts at Flushing Meadows. What she's already proven. Whatever happens next, it's worth pausing on just how far Alex Eala has already come this season. A first career WTA singles title, a run to the 4th round of Wimbledon, a career-high world ranking inside the top 20, a win-loss record against top 10 opponents that most established stars would be proud of, a Nike partnership built entirely around her identity and her country, and now, a Grand Slam that has restructured its own promotional spotlight around a player who, 1 year ago, was making her US Open debut as a virtual unknown outside tennis circles. This is a 21-year-old who has turned every single stop on the North American hard-court swing into a homecoming, despite being thousands of miles from home. She has done it with ruffled socks, light-up shoes, and a visor stitched with a promise in her own language. Once it grows, it cannot be stopped. What comes next? So here's where we leave things. In the coming days, Alex Eala steps onto Arthur Ashe Stadium to face her close friend Iva Jovic, looking for revenge after 2 straight losses. Days after that, she'll make her Grand Slam mixed doubles debut alongside a world number 4 player who's openly admitted the crowd will be showing up for her. And by the end of the month, she launches her actual singles campaign as a projected top 15 seed, carrying the weight of an entire country's expectations, and, according to some, the risk of a schedule that might be asking too much of her all at once. Does the packed schedule wear her down before her singles run even begins? Or does she walk away from New York having pulled off one of the most remarkable Grand Slam stretches any Filipino athlete has ever had? That's the question nobody can answer yet, and it's exactly why this story is worth following closely over the next 2 weeks. If you want to see how it all plays out, the exhibition against Jovic, the mixed doubles debut with Eala'S, and her singles run at Flushing Meadows, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, because we'll be covering every twist of this story as it happens. Drop a comment below. Do you think Alex Eala's packed schedule helps her build momentum, or does it put her US Open singles run at risk? Let us know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one.